Okay, everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, long time coming for this, at least for me, because now I'm in the mood for these, so I figured I would share this with you guys. Today, we are making Italian stuffed peppers, okay? I'm going to run down the ingredients like I do in every one of my videos. I did a lot of prepping, because if you don't do a lot of prepping, the video would be an hour long. So I'm going to run through all the ingredients and we'll get going with that. So here I got my rice already cooked. I did cook this in chicken stock to add a little bit more flavor to it. You can do this in water if you want to, however you want to do it. If you want to do it in a a saucepan, that's fine. If you want to do success boil bags, that's fine too. All these ingredients here, I usually do this by eye, so I don't know exactly how much of what I got right here. Okay, but I am going to put, if you look down in the description, I'll put the recipe down there like I do all my other recipes, so you'll have an accurate, accurate measurements on what's going on. Okay, so we got our cooked rice here. I have one large chopped onion here. I got some fresh grated Parmesan cheese here. I do hit this with the grater. I have some fresh parsley over here. I got 1 pound of spicy Italian sausage. I have 1 pound of mozzarella cheese over here that I did grate as well. Got some olive oil. I got some peppers. I left 1 pepper undone, as you can see over here. These are already prepped and ready to go. I'll show you how I do that. I have some fresh garlic over here. And then over to the spices. Over here I have some rosemary, some oregano, I have some thyme, and some basil. Okay, so this is it for this recipe. Now, behind me I also have some fresh homemade spaghetti sauce that I made. You can use whatever you want to. The more, the fresher the ingredients, the better these are going to be. Trust me on that. I think if you've had stuffed peppers before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to clear some of this stuff out of the way. This is your prep. This is what you need. Let me get this out of the way, and I'm going to show you how I cut this pepper, because we're going to save the tops for presentation later on once I start plating this. Okay, I'll be right back with you guys. Let me clear some of this out. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to cut this. This is exactly how I do it. So I'm going to grab a knife here. We're going to go about maybe 3/4 of an inch in from the top. Now we want to make sure that we have enough of this top where it's not too thin. Okay, so I think you guys can see it like that. So we're going to take this now, and very simple, we're just going to cut straight down. Now we take another knife. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, just because, it is what it is right now. Okay, so you see these pieces here that hold on the middle. So all I do is just take a paring knife and I just literally slice straight down. That's all I do. Slice down, and slice down. This is the easiest way to get this out of here. And then I just pull it out, literally. The vein, that I don't know if you want to call it a membrane or whatever, and then just bang it on the bottom. Perfectly gutted pepper, I guess. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with that. Now this here, we're not going to throw this away. We're actually going to save this, because when I plate this later, this is what I'm actually going to use. So we're just going to take my paring knife. I'm going to stick it around that white core. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're just going to, it just doesn't have to be perfect, but you should try to keep it intact. If you don't, that's okay. You can always mend it later. Okay, so you want to just remove the center part. So what you're left with is this. You want this, okay? I have all the other ones over here as well. Okay, so we want to save those, because we're going to do something really neat with those later on. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do now is very, very simple. We're going to get this stuff pushed aside over here. Actually, you know, yeah, I'll push this aside over here, and we're gonna bring in the peppers. Oop, sorry about the noise. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, this is very simple. Okay, we're gonna just put some olive oil on and around all the peppers. You're gonna get your hands a little dirty with this, but it's all part of it, right? Okay, and we're also gonna do these peppers over here as well. And we're gonna rub these, okay? We're gonna rub them inside and out, coat them all the way around, okay? Just like this. Okay. Once they're coated, then these are gonna go into a 350 degree oven for about 20 minutes. We're gonna par cook these. Okay, just like that. Beautiful. These are gorgeous. These are great. I didn't realize that I was actually gonna be have that much luck on getting some really awesome peppers when I went shopping, because produce has been kind of, yeah, it's been kind of lately, right? Anybody that shops for produce will tell you that. Okay, so that's it. This is it. Just rub them all down really good, front and back, like that. Okay, just like that. All right, I'm gonna pop these in the oven, 350, about 20 minutes. You're not looking to actually cook these. You're actually just par cooking them. Just partially cook them, and then we're gonna yank these, and I'll be back and we will show you what the next step is. So back over to the skillet, we're gonna just take our, the pan was actually preheated. So we're just gonna take this now. What we're gonna do here is we're actually just gonna leave this alone for, I don't know, probably about 3 minutes or so. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get some color on the bottom of this. Okay, you guys that watch my channel, you guys already know, you know, it's I like to caramelize that protein, man. You get great color out of it. You get great flavor out of it when you do that. I'm cooking this on a medium heat, by the way. And the only other thing I got over here is, like I said, I got some homemade tomato sauce over here. So that is just over here on low, ready to go. So we're going to leave this be for a second. Let me grab a spatula, and I'll show you guys what this looks like when I flip it to the other side, so you get a general idea. But I'm going to leave that hanging just for a minute, and I'll be right back with you guys, okay? All right, so I think this is ready to flip, so I'm going to turn around and give that a flip. Okay, so see, this is what I was talking about. This is exactly what you want. You want this colorization right here. It's going to add some really good flavor. That was about maybe 4 minutes or so, okay? We're going to let the other side go just as long until we get some color. Again, medium, a little more than medium heat. We're going to let this go just a little bit more. When this is done, I'm going to start breaking this up. You want this in very small pieces. And then we're just going to continue with the recipe. But I'll bring you guys back with me once I start breaking this up and show you how small the pieces need to be. Okay, so this is ready to flip. So we're going to give this another flip. This is beautiful. It's exactly how the way it's supposed to be. Okay, now we're just going to start breaking this up. And now see, you got the color everywhere on this stuff. See now the sausage is nice, and that's going to give you a good, you know, everybody knows. Everybody knows it's going to give you a really good flavor. Okay, so this is what we got now. Okay, this is just about how you would want this for this recipe, and look at all the caramelization on that. This is going to add a ton of flavor. This is going to be so good. Okay, so the only thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this sausage, I'm going to put this in another bowl, and then I'll be back with you, and then we're going to drop the onions in and get those sauteed. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to add, I left some of the grease in there. I kind of wish that there was more to saute this, but we're going to put a little bit more fat in it. So we're going to do a little bit more olive oil, and then we're going to dump in our onions and get these going. Now, you know, this recipe is a little bit time consuming, but you know, the end result, I think everybody that likes peppers, at least, I think everybody likes sausage and peppers. Oops. So, all right, so that's what we got going on here. I'm going to caramelize these up, and I'll bring you guys back with me just to show you how long that this takes and what they look like. Flavor. We're just building flavor at this point here. Okay, so the peppers are done after 20 minutes of being in the oven, and this is now what they look like. Okay, they're not done, obviously, but they're a little bit pliable. Now this is going to vary. Not every pepper is the same thickness, you know, so on and so forth. So let me show you what happens here is that the olive oil that you had now gets into the pepper. So we need to just drain these out just like that, and then just put them back in. But we do need to go through, and we do need to drain all these. You see all the water? So it's the water from the pepper, and it's the olive oil that we douse these in before we put these in. See? So make sure you do this, okay? And I also put in, obviously you guys can see, obviously I put in the tops too. Right. So we're back here with the onions. Okay, so these onions now have cooked down. This is what they look like. You want to sweat them out. You don't want to fry them, but you definitely want them a little bit on the softer side. Okay, so, and this is on a medium heat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just put our rosemary in. That was a half a teaspoon. And then we're going to put our oregano in. This is where the fragrances really start coming out. This is the good part of it all. We're going to put in some thyme. I'm a huge fan of thyme. So if you want to put a little bit more thyme in, or more rosemary or basil, feel free to do so. You know, this is your recipe here, kind of, you know. If you like something a little bit more potent than the other. Okay, and we're going to put another 1/4 teaspoon of basil. Not another, but a half a teaspoon of basil. Okay, so on medium heat now, we're just going to mix this around a little bit. Okay, just like that. So now all the fragrance is in. Okay. So we're going to turn the heat up just a little bit at this point, and now we're going to put in some garlic. Now I have 5 cloves of garlic here. I like garlic, so you know that's one of the things. If you don't like garlic, you just put less in. But I like garlic, so we're going to put in probably about 4 cloves and see how that is. Now, everybody knows the rule here. You start smelling the garlic cook, it's done. Okay? So you only want it fragrant. You don't want to burn it. If you start burning garlic, what do we get? That's right. It starts releasing some allicin, is what it is. I know that might sound funny, but that's what it does. It becomes very bitter. You don't want your garlic bitter. So when you start smelling it, starts becoming fragrant, that's it. That's what you got. So the next step that we're going to do after this, as soon as this becomes fragrant, we are going to add some spaghetti sauce to this, and then we're going to add the sausage back in. And then we're going to go back to the other side. We're going to mix it with the rice and some other stuff, cheese and whatnot, and then we're going to start stuffing the peppers, and then they're going to go in the oven. So we're just waiting for this to get fragrant. We can start smelling it all come together now. So that's a good sign, right? Just like that. I know you guys are probably saying, look at how old this pan is, and you're 100% right. This pan is so old. But I hate to give it up because I'm so used to cooking with it. So yeah, anyways, this is something, you know, being Italian, I know you guys, you know, watch my channel or whatever, you already know that. But for the people that don't know that, just click on just this video. Yep, grew up in an Italian household. Stuffed peppers were, you know, one of those things. You know, we had this and, you know, a ton of other stuff, right? You know, stuffed shells and manicotti and sausage and meatballs and lasagna and any kind of pasta that you can imagine. You know, just like any other Italian-American household. Okay, so start smelling that garlic. Now we're going to add some sauce. And this sauce now, just a little bit of background on the sauce. So this is sauce that I make. It's Lavallee tomatoes, plum tomatoes that are squeezed. And it is, there's some oregano, there's some parsley, there's some garlic. So let's start with that first and let's see what we get. Let's turn the heat down just a little bit. Let this do its thing. And there's a little olive oil in it. It's your typical Italian sauce. There's basil in it. There's a couple bay leaves in it. You know, that type of thing. So we'll just keep our eye on this for a second, and then now we're going to add in back the sausage and all the fat. If there's any fat in here, any of that pork grease, get that. Don't let that escape. All right, so we're going to mix this up just like this. I love stuffed peppers. Okay. All right, maybe another spoonful of tomato sauce. All right, so we're just going to cook this. We're going to let this all marry together for probably about, I'm probably going to leave it here for like 10 minutes. So as soon as this sits here and all becomes together, all the flavors become together and whatnot, I'm going to pull this and then we'll take you on the other side of the kitchen. We'll start adding the rice and some other stuff and wait to see how delicious this is going to be. Stay tuned for this. This is good. If you like sausage and peppers, I guarantee you it's a recipe you'll love. This is done now. This is the mixture. This is what it's supposed to look like. We just cooked this down for, I don't know, about 10 minutes or whatever. This has all the spices. If you see a bay leaf in there from your sauce, you can discard that. So we're just going to pour this now into this bowl. This smells absolutely amazing. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add some, actually what we're going to do is we're going to add some fresh parsley first. I forgot all about the parsley. Okay. And the parsley doesn't need to be cooked, but we're just going to add some parsley. We're going to mix this around. Now again, this recipe is more by eye, in all honesty. That's how I do it. That's how a lot of people do these recipes, right? Okay, so here we go. And you know what? If you make extra of this, this stuff is fantastic by itself. Heat it up, grab a spoon, and have at that once we add the rice. Okay, so here's the rice that we cooked earlier. we're gonna go, just so you guys get a, let's put this over here. This is a 1 cup container, or measuring cup, whatever. If you like a lot of rice, put a lot of rice, right? So we're gonna start with about 2 cups of rice, and we're gonna see where we're at once we do that. I'm just gonna mix this up. This looks so good. I'm telling you, if you're a fan of this, you're gonna love this. Okay, I think that mix is okay. It's about 60-40 hamburger. I'm sorry, hamburger. Christ, I'm thinking about making glumpkies, right? Okay, and now we're gonna add some fresh grated Parmesan cheese. Okay, about a couple of, well, very big pinches, I guess you would say. That was probably, that's probably half a cup. About a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Okay, so this is our mixture. I know it's a little sloppy right now just because I'm mixing it, but we'll show you. This is the mixture. That's what this smells. Oh God, this smells so good. Okay, the next thing we do now is we just grab a spoon. We grab our peppers. And we start, if there's any water left in them or whatever, or olive oil, just feel free to. And then we're just going to stuff these up as much as you can. Don't be afraid to pack it in. All right, so that really is all there is to this. Okay, I'm gonna do the other 5. This is your stuffed pepper. Then we're gonna throw these in the oven. I'm gonna throw these in on 350 for, I'm gonna start with 25 minutes. Now the way that I do this to see if everything is done or not is I usually take a toothpick and just poke the side of this. Once that is as tender as you wanna eat it, then these are done, because remember, everything is already cooked. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll be back after I put these in the oven, take them out, and then we're gonna put some mozzarella cheese on them, and then we're gonna rebake them again until the cheese gets kind of brown and crispy on the top, and then we're gonna eat. Guys, one quick thing, I forgot to season it, right? So we're gonna add a little bit of salt, and we're gonna add a little bit of pepper. Remember that you got, if you chose to put spicy sausage in this, just remember that is in there, and you don't want to have it too hot, unless that's the way you like it. Yeah, if you like it that way, that's great. Okay, so we're gonna just check this. We're gonna check this for seasoning. I can always get another spoon, right? That is so good. Okay, another pinch of salt, that'll do it. Okay, I'm just gonna mix this up. I'm gonna stuff the rest of those peppers. We're gonna get these in the oven. Okay, so we just got done stuffing all these, and this is our stuffed peppers. These are now going in the oven, 350, minimum of 25 minutes, and then we're gonna poke the sides with a toothpick, see how tender they are. Once the pepper's done, this meal's done, and then we'll put some cheese on it, put them back in for just a couple of minutes. And we got these stuffed peppers out of the oven. These look absolutely fantastic. The top of them is all nice and crispy. Beautiful. Okay, exactly the way that these are supposed to be and look at this point. Now, I did turn around and I did put these in the oven for an initial 25 minutes uncovered. That's how the tops became nice and brown. And then I turned around and I covered them for another 35 minutes with aluminum foil to get the pepper nice and tender. Okay, now again, that's totally up to you how done you want your pepper. When the pepper's done, the meal's done because everything else is cooked. So now the only thing that we have to do is we just have to bring a little bit of mozzarella cheese in, and we're going to dress these, and then we're going to stick these back in the oven just like this until the cheese on top gets, so we're going to just push down, get this cheese all on there just like that. And if some spills over, that's okay. That's just what it is. Just like this. Now when I filled these, I left a little bit of room to the top. Not much, but just a little bit. So you can set the cheese down inside here. Okay, so this is now, and this mozz, this was also shredded by hand. It's not pre-bagged or anything, just so you guys know. It's about a pound. So that's what I'm putting on this. Is about, I've probably put the whole pound on, I would assume. Just make sure you be careful. The pan, this lasagna pan is extremely hot. So, and we're going to put it back in, same temperature, uncovered this time. Yep, so we use the whole pound of cheese for 6. There we go. Beautiful. And now we're going to stick these back in the oven. These are beautiful. They smell fantastic as well. Okay, guys, now we're going to stick these back in the oven for another, I'm going to guess probably about another 15 minutes on 350 until the cheese becomes extremely melted and maybe just turning just a slight bit brown on the top. Okay, these are going back in. I will be with you guys as soon as these guys come out. We're going to plate these up. These just came out of the oven. This is what they look like. These look fantastic. All right, the cheese is all melted, a little crispy around the edges, a little bit of spice to them because of that spicy sausage. Lots of cheese in here, a lot of Parmesan cheese on the inside. You've seen how these were made. So I'm sure you could tell that these are going to be absolutely delicious. Okay, I'm going to put this aside for right now, and then I am going to grab a plate, and we're going to plate these up. All right, so let's see. Okay, something like that. All right, so now what we're going to do, these are very, very hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the rings that we cut out before. So we're going to put one there. We're going to put a green one next, just like this. And then we're going to follow it by a red one, just like this. Okay? So, now we're going to get this out, and this is what we're gonna, these are really hot, so just bear with me here while I plate this up. Okay, just like that, and then we're gonna go after another gorgeous one here. I'm going to plate that up like this, just like that. Ah, these are gorgeous. And we're going to follow it with another red one. Whew. These are really, really hot, as you can imagine. Okay, so that's it. That is how I do some stuffed peppers. Now the only thing we have to do left is we just have to garnish this up a little bit, which, you know, the whole plating thing. So all I got here is just a regular skewer with just gonna poke this like this, and then we're just gonna slide a little bit of parsley down inside, just like that. Okay. You don't have to get super fancy with it. Just a little something to garnish it with, right? Just like that. Okay. All right, guys, this is it. This is how I make my stuffed peppers. I hope you guys make these. This is going to be for a couple of photos here, so I'm actually going to plate what I'm going to eat now. All right, so hopefully you guys like this. Make this. This is going to be a great recipe for you if you guys decide to do this. Okay. Having said that, I'm going to turn around here. We're just going to put that aside. I'm going to bring in another dish. And now this is how I would plate this up, you know, if you guys had company or something. Okay, so we're going to start out with a little bit of sauce, just like this. Okay. And then we're going to get ourselves a nice little green ring like that. And then we're going to serve that just like that. Okay? So if you were thinking about any kind of like plating ideas or whatnot, maybe go with this or go with another you know, idea that you may have. And I'm gonna wipe up my plate because I made a mess, just like that. Okay, so that's it. That's what we got. And maybe you can, I'm making a mess here. And maybe you can freshen it up with just a little bit of parsley, just like that. So I don't know if anybody, I'm sure a lot of people know, but so the whole idea of why, I just want to explain real quick, the reason why people garnish with a particular, you know, parsley, oregano, thyme, those type of things, is because that's what's in the product. Okay, so if you guys didn't know that, you know, there's a little bit of information for you. So this is it. This is how you would plate this, or whatever, you know, just not too fancy, but, you know, fancy enough, I guess, if you had company. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to try this now, and I'm going to see. I was going to just say how good or bad this is, but I already know because I've made these so many times. What do you see? Look at that. Look at the inside of that. That, my friends, all kidding aside, that is just an awesome stuffed pepper. Okay, 1 second. I know I'm probably going to burn my mouth here, but that's okay. It's worth it. It's good stuff. Oh boy. Okay. You guys get a chance to make this recipe, leave a comment down in the comment section if you guys like this, or is this how you guys make them, or, you know, maybe a different kind of ingredient you can put in it. You can put in mushrooms if you want to. Touch base with me if you guys want to. Okay, until the next recipe, until next week, this is how I do stuffed peppers, and we will see you next week for another great recipe. Okay, guys, take care.